Welcome back, guys, to Miles Edgeworth Ace Attorney Investigations, where last episode, with Franziska requiring Edgeworth to prove his innocence in an argument, we showed her that the crime scene was not the same room Miles was supposedly in. This, of course, led to Miss Teneiro ending up as the most suspicious, having the only keycard to the cargo hold. With the victim's luggage showing us who he really was and who he was meeting, having been an Interpol agent with Franziska as his contact, we now seemingly argue with her about the identity of the killer. But the killer can be none other than Miss Rhoda Teneiro. Argument begin! Who'd have guessed? Definitive evidence. If it was a crew member, any one of them could have shown Agent Hicks to the cargo hold. But the point to keep in mind is the keycard that allows the elevator to come down here. The only person with such high-level access is Miss Rhoda Teneiro. I say that's a pretty decisive piece of information, wouldn't you? I know what she's trying to say, but I'm not certain it's as simple as that. Well, let's press. Because I didn't see anything blatantly obvious to poke at. You may have, though. If it was a crew member, any one of them could have shown Agent Hicks to the cargo hold. Hold it! That might be true, but then it could be anyone, including Miss Meal or even the captain. Don't be a fool. A plane without a pilot in the cockpit is like a horse without a rider, grub in hand. Much like Scruffy over there. I can't disagree with on that. Detective Gumshoe does always need a guiding hand. Like autopilot, maybe? Very well then. What about the other flight attendant, Miss Meal? Ah, I thought you might ask about her. But the point to keep in mind is the keycard that allows the elevator to come down here. Hold it! But it's highly likely the keycard was stolen from Miss Teneiro. Objection! It's highly likely. Is that possibility the best you can come up with? Would you call yourself a disciple of my father? Yes, well, while I don't have any evidence, Be quiet. You're a disgrace. There's more evidence pointing to Miss Rhoda Teneiro, you know. It's not just the keycard that gives her away. Are you talking about the murder weapon, the Mr. iFly Piggy bank? Yes, she is also the only person with a key to open that display case. Further, there is the matter of the key to the display case that held the murderous bank. Well, it fell out because of turbulence. Is this what I'm going after? I don't know. Hold it! Glass fell outwards, lady. Well, that is a fake. Stop right there, Miles Edgeworth. You don't have any proof that this is just a red herring. If you must keep on insisting that it's a fake, then what is the real murder weapon and where did it go? It got flushed down the loo. It's on a plane. It got ejected. I don't know. Speechless, I see. That's not a surprise. After all, you know that we searched the entire cargo hold and came up empty-handed. There must be a way. There must be something that can help me rule out the piggy bank as the murder weapon. Oh god, there really is. What should be examined further to help us ascertain the authenticity of the weapon? The piggy bank itself, the crime scene, or the body? The crime scene doesn't help, so it's either the piggy bank itself or the body. But most ideally, thinking about it, I mean, sure, you've got blood. Has that actually been matched? Oh yeah, but that's not a problem because the situation we posited. There is some blood on one of the corners. Could this piggy bank be the murder weapon? Is his blood wound trauma in a like nice right angles? So I guess that's what we'll find out. So it's one of either that or what we're gonna do with the body. What body? Was hit on the back of the head. Isn't there another way he was murdered though? I mean, there's not a lot of blood. Do you think he was strangled with his cord? By the way, what's with the picture of the... That's weird. I was like looking at the face of the doll. Does it look different? I can't really see. Well, we can take a Penoy. It's one of two choices. We can probably eliminate the crime scene because he's not going to be murdered with money unless he was swallowed a coin. I guess matching the wound... Yeah, well... No, actually, wait a second. The weapon wouldn't help at all. It would definitely be the body to help us ascertain the authenticity of the weapon because we've got to find if there's any other way he was killed. It's just that, right? Franziska, I think you were too quick to jump to your conclusions. Oh, was I? Don't doubt too much. Yes, we don't even have the autopsy results yet. How can I not say that you made a snap judgment when you have yet to even see if the wound on Agent Hicks's head is consistent with the murder weapon? Indeed. Scruffy!
Yes, sir!
Contact the medical examiner's office at once. I wish to hear the results of Agent Hicks's autopsy.
Yeah, yes, sir!
What my results?
We've got a big problem, Mr. Edgeworth, sir.
What's it, Detective?
They're still doing the autopsy, but they said that they already know this one thing for sure.
Report, now!
The doc said that it's one giant bruise from a beating from his shoulder down to his mid-back.
From the victim's shoulder to his mid-back. He was beaten over such a wide area. Did he take a fall?
Well, I'd say maybe it's a sign the killer had a grudge against Agent Hicks. It wasn't just his head. The killer went all out and hit him multiple times, sir.
Oh, okay. Like he fell down some stairs? Scruffy, what is had a grudge against Agent Hicks supposed to mean?
Well, that's,
Was the wound on the victim's head consistent with the murder weapon, Detective?
Oh, well, they said that they were still looking into that, sir.
You're completely useless.
Ow! Sir, I told you already. You can't go down there.
No, you remove yourself from my way. Who's this? What is all that racket?
Ah, it's you. My luggage, my cargo. They're mine and I demand you return them to me.
We're still investigating the cargo.
Please understand and have a little patience. I suppose there is no choice. Finally, I think he get... Hey, what are you? You have left me no choice but use strong force. Ah! You won't get past me.
So...
Oh. This is...
Wait, that's it. So that's what this whole thing has been about. Further, there was the matter of the key to the display case that held the murderous bank. Oh, I'm getting more logic. After all, you know that we've searched the entire cargo hold and came up empty-handed because it's covered. Nobody could find anything that could be considered the real weapon in the hold. It wasn't a weapon.
The doc said it's one giant bruise from a beating from his shoulder down to his mid-back.
Whoa, now we actually get to see that. Extensive bruising from back of head down to mid-back as if severely beaten. Ow. Eureka! So what am I connecting here? Is there some way for me to prove this isn't the real murder weapon? Well, the cause of death and the weapon couldn't be found. I mean... Are we going to connect this and that on the basis of it being that these don't match up? Because, of course, it's not the cause of death. That's not the weapon. Is that going to be linked with that, then? I do wonder. Oh, this one's a bit more tricky. I mean, that and the cause of death don't match, so surely the logic there is that we're going to say that. Me hopes. Allegedly, the killer struck the victim many times over, which is why there is extensive bruising over such a wide area. But is that really the correct conclusion to draw from the evidence? The bruise from his shoulder to the middle of his back is one continuous mark, which is more suggestive of a single blow to the back. If that's the case, then the piggyback is much too small to have caused that. Therefore, the murder weapon must be something far bigger. So now we're probably going to link the weapon couldn't be found and a sizable weapon. The unusually large area of bruising suggested a very large weapon was used, but could it be a sizable weapon with smuggling instead? Because we're saying that, like, maybe it was something that was actually used with smuggling, but it's most likely these two. Nobody could find anything that could be considered the real weapon in the hold because the weapon was essentially gravity. Let's try that. If we're looking for a rather large weapon, you'd think it would stick out. But so far, we haven't found anything that resembles a weapon of any sort. Perhaps, just perhaps, is something we all overlooked from the very beginning. Because normally, it's too impossibly big to be taken into consideration. I mean, at least he just landed safely.
What was that all about? Was he trying to jump his way down here?
Franziska. What? What do you want? I found it, Franziska. I found the real murder weapon. You did?
He really jumped?
We didn't realize it until now, but the answer has been right in front of us this whole time.
He might be hurt. We should go check up on him, sirs.
There's that pompous attitude of yours again. You should learn to drop that habit. This coming from a prosecutor with a habit of whipping everyone she comes across. Anyway, if you really are a prosecutor, then you'll back yourself up with evidence.
You two aren't listening at all, are you?
At least someone here has some empathy. Come on then, show me this real murder weapon you speak of. I mean, I can't, because it's that box over there, and I don't have that box over there. Or it's the box or the stairs. I don't have any evidence to show you. Foolish reasoning for a foolish fool from a foolishly foolish fool meant to fool me. What do you mean by I don't have any evidence to show? Perhaps I should have phrased it as that which caused Agent Hicks's death is incorporeal. Forgive me, but I do believe I figured out what was the real cause of death. Suffocation, free fall, or strangulation? Well, I was going with strangulation, but kind of strangulation and suffocation are almost the same thing. It's a free fall. He's been free! The victim fell from a great height and subsequently died as a result. In other words, the real cause of death is free falling to the ground.
He
fell to his death. Yes, this is the only plausible possibility. The victim has extensive bruising on the back of his head and his back. And the only rational explanation for these injuries is that he fell to his death. But the murder happened inside this plane. I know. Are you claiming that there is some place in this plane from which he could have fallen from? As I said earlier, the answer has been right in front of us the entire time. You can mean... Yes, I do. The victim fell from the top of the stairs of this very cargo hold.
What? Then, we're in trouble. We may have a second death on our hands, sirs.
That's not stairs.
Hey you, tell me you aren't dead, pal. Quiet, why are you screaming? He's alive!
Yes.
He's alive!
And there you have it, Miles Edgeworth. It's not possible that Agent Hicks fell over the railing to his death. He sat down the stairs. Were you not listening? That man is living proof of that. I suppose it's true that it's not possible, given the current circumstances. The current circumstances? What is that supposed to mean? Suppose that large piece of cargo wasn't there at the time. What would have happened then?
You would have been a Borginian pancake for sure, sir.
That's not that high. I suppose that man over there wouldn't still be breathing. But the reality is that the cargo box is there. There is no point in entertaining your wild hypothetical scenarios. It may be there now, but there is no proof that it was always there. Ha! As if there could have been a window of time where that giant box was not there. But there was, because things were moved. Ah, but there was. What? What can I use to show that it's possible the box was not always where it is now? Okay, got it. Refueling in Zhengfa. Made a brief stop from 4 AM to 5 AM to transfer cargo and refuel at the transfer point.
Take that!
You refueled in the Republic of Zhengfa? Yes, this flight had a short layover in Zhengfa in order to refuel. But that wasn't the only reason for the layover. We also transferred some cargo. What if the box in question was only transferred onto the plane at that time? To further prove my point, let's take a look at what's next to the box in question.
It's labeled Zhengfa Express.
Correct, meaning it was loaded onto the plane in Zhengfa. Cargo from Zhengfa's data jotted down in my organizer. Now, what if the box in question was also loaded on at the same time? It would mean that the box was not here in the cargo hold during the Europe-Zhengfa leg of the flight, making a clear drop from which Agent Hicks could have fallen to his death entirely possible. Ah, but your theory is still very far-fetched. Then allow me a chance to prove how very likely my scenario is. My first order of business will be to examine that piece of cargo in more detail. More investigations?
Excuse me, Franziska. This is a rather large piece of cargo. There's a tag on it, sir. Let's see. Alif red statue. Never heard of it. Nor I, but I care about it. All I care about is if we can prove it wasn't here at the time of the crime. And let's get some investigating, sir.
Oh, that's yours? That's yours.
Look here. Do not go about touching my possessions without my permission. Don't rush up on me like that, pal.
So this belongs to Mr. LeBlanc, does it? I should see what else I can find out from him.
Well, let's talk to you. Look here. Do not go about touching my possessions without my permission.
I suppose I have to first appease Mr. LeBlanc if I want to examine this in more detail. How am I going to appease him? Do I going to ask someone to just allow him to have it and take it somewhere? Can I talk to you, please? Oh, I actually didn't talk to him. I actually examined the box again. LeBlanc's cargo. I take it this large piece of cargo belongs to you, Mr. LeBlanc.
Of course it is mine. I shipped this fine piece of art from Europe. This Alif red statue is worth 10 million cents.
No, maybe much, much more. Mr. LeBlanc's reason for choosing this plane must have been the large cargo hold.
10 million cents!
I suggest you stop trying to calculate how many packets of noodles that makes, Detective.
Darn, how did you do that? I feel like I keep getting better and better at seeing right through me every year.
Though I grow with each revolution of the planet around the sun, I have the distinct impression he continues to madly spin in place.
Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, so that 10 million cents, is that in euros or in dollars?
Does it really make a difference to our case? Mr. LeBlanc, there is a chance that your cargo is related to our murder case. I was wondering if you would allow us to examine it a bit closer.
It is a very valuable piece of art, so no, there will be no touching.
He claims to have brought it from Europe. But. So, if there's no more talking, and we've just received from logic, there should be only 2 bits of logic left, where a certain someone was coming down here to examine it. So, could this be something being smuggled? Claims to have bought really much makes it like bang on. Plus, we're in Zengfar, not Europe. We picked it up then. What? If Mr. LeBlanc has something to do with the smuggling ring, then it's possible this fake statue was brought on board in Zengfar. I think I need to question him a bit further. Well, so we shall. About the fake statue. About your statue, Mr. LeBlanc. I wonder if it might be a fake.
What? How dare you say my art is fake?
I suspect that your statue might be the target of an international smuggling ring.
Don't say such fantastical things. Those thieves would not dare. I have the certification of my cargo right here.
Do you mean the cargo certification document? Mr. Zinc LeBlanc, why didn't you say so earlier? Please show it to us at once. I can't read this. What does it say?
It says as plain as day the cargo was put onto the plane in Europe.
And there you have it, Miles Edgeworth. Too bad for you. This statue was brought on board in Europe, just as it states in this certificate.
No, that's...
Which means that there never was a window of time in which the statue wasn't sitting there. Okay. I mean, it could have been moved. I respectfully disagree. We can't discount the theory until I see the statue for myself.
Now you can have your wish. Look at it yourself and see I am right. This, I know I've seen this somewhere before. This is the Alif Red. It gives us such a feeling of art. I can practically smell it. This statue has a high amount of historic value. After it was unveiled at the museum in Europe, I brought it to this country to exhibit it.
Right, the Alif Red statue, which we saw in a picture. I believe a closer look is warranted here. So this is the infamous Alif Red statue.
What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? Did you find something?
There's something wrong with this picture. We should examine it in more detail. Oh god, let's just look at the picture first, to jog our memory. I see they had red eyes. instead of supposedly orange eyes. So let's gaze deeply into its eyes, shall we? I mean, I could examine first, to be fair. Are these eyes made of some sort of gem?
That's a real nice shade of orange. For a sec, I couldn't even tell they were jewels. Oh, but they kind of remind me of the eyes of this stray cat that lives near my house.
Are the eyes supposed to be this colour? Is it possible the statue is a fake? What's actually down here? I mean, you can see that this is on top of something.
What's this? The statue looks like it's stepping all over its neighbour's cloth cover. It kind of resembles its owner's attitude in a sense. You, what are you saying now? Further, my clothing's hem is not being stepped on by anyone. It is too expensive for me to allow that to happen.
Please forgive the trespasses of my subordinate.
Why should I forgive if the dress passes? Unless it is an expensive dress, you keep it!
Dress passes indeed. Alright, well, we kind of know what we're looking at straight away, so let's go for it. Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? It's connected to the photo of Mr. Hicks.
Eureka!
These eyes are awfully orange, don't you think?
Yeah, pretty. They remind me of sunsets when I was in grade school, sir.
I don't think you see what I'm talking about.
No, I do, but it's really like the colour of the sun when it's setting, sir. Ah, the memories. I remember standing out in that field, spinning with my arms out until I felt ill.
I don't care about sunsets. Focus, detective. What colour are the eyes in this photo?
Huh. Ah! Sir, they're red!
As I thought. This statue is a fake. Mr. LeBlanc.
What do you want? Do you not know I am a busy man? I allow you 2 seconds for your answer.
The Alif Red. I suppose this is your pride and joy, is it not?
It is the biggest trophy on this European trip. Do you know why I wanted to possess this statue? The trick has started 17 years ago. Better grab a chair, sir. Sounds like it's going to be a long story.
Mr. LeBlanc, I regret to inform you, and you have my heartfelt sympathy, but...
What is that? Sympathy? For what?
You'll see, I'd like you to compare the eyes.
That large fellow there has very bright and pretty eyes compared to you. I wasn't talking about the two of us.
I meant the eyes of the statue in front of us and the one in this photo.
What is suddenly yelling? Now then. Oh! Here's a photo of the statue on display at the museum in Europe. Ah!
Now, do you see, Mr. LeBlanc? The statue before us is a fake.
A fake?
I believe that even further examination will be required. Now that we have confirmed this is indeed a fake, there must be some sort of proof that this was brought on board in Xenimphar. And I will present you evidence that will resolve the remaining contradiction. What evidence am I really after here? I mean, I still got to deduce some stuff. Uh-oh. I mean, I thought the red ice was good enough. Would love that phone. Why is that phone still missing? So I guess we look at the certificate of authenticity, considering it's the other thing that's related to it. Proves the statue was loaded on board in Europe. Document written in Borginian. Why is it written in Borginian if it was loaded on board in Europe? Wait. No. I'm kind of confused a little bit, obviously, here. Can I leave, like, this room to see what this one was? What are we here? It says Xenimphar Express on the cloth, sir. There we go. Something is tugging on the corner of my mind as though something is out of place. Right, so if that... the cloth on it was from Xenimphar, then, you know, it had to be loaded after, you know, not in Europe. So, it was loaded in Xenimphar because it was on top of the Xenimpharian cloth. So what am I actually presenting to? Is it just that I'm deducing because it deduces up? Probably. Let's deduce this bit of it. Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? Okay. So... Sorry, this is a bit confusing, so I'm just kind of working through it now live about what the game really wants from me. It was loaded on board during the refueling in 4 and 5. That's cargo from Zenfar. Are we presenting this to say it's cargo from Zenfar and it's on top so it wasn't loaded in Europe? That's what I think we're doing. Yes. Eureka! There's clearly a contradiction here. What are you going on about? It's just a simple case of a cargo cover getting stuck under another piece of cargo. Ah, that's not possible. But it is. It shouldn't be this way, but the statue is on top of the cloth. Supposing that a neighbouring piece of cargo was brought on board in Zenfar, there was no way that any part of it should wind up under something from Europe. Which means that this fake statue was smuggled on board in Zenfar. But then what about the cargo certificate? Let me ask in return, what about Agent Hicks? Why did he come down here in the middle of the flight? There was only one reason why. Secure proof of smuggling activity aboard this flight. So you say, but I don't believe he had to do that mid-flight. We could have just as easily inspected all of the cargo after the plane landed. That may be true. However, you have it backwards, Franziska. Sure, Agent Hicks could have waited until after the plane had landed, but he had a reason for coming down to the cargo hold. Suppose he had found the fake at the airport. It would have been after the swap had occurred. At that time, the suspicion would naturally fall onto the statue's owner, who would have no way to prove that the statue was switched without his knowledge. Which means there is someone involved who is forging or modifying cargo certificates. Okay, so this certificate's been updated. We survived! Well, I guess the victim knew the real version of this was going to get nabbed, huh? Yes, while this photo could be seen as nothing more than a simple souvenir, it was in fact taken to be used as a reference document later on. Next, Agent Hicks had to secure proof that the smuggling had taken place. He came down here to take a picture of the cargo hold, a rather empty one at that, right before the fake statue could be loaded on board. A photo of the hold missing a valuable piece of cargo would have been proof enough. After that, all he had to do was hold the Zenfar cargo crew and arrest the smuggler. Exactly. This only goes to prove my theory. If the statue was not in the cargo hold during the Europe-Zenfar leg of the trip, there would have been enough height from which Agent Hicks could have fallen to his death. Officer, move this statue immediately. I want a thorough examination of the floor underneath, now. Miss Von Karma, I'm ready to report my findings. Go on. After moving the Alif red statue out of the way, we tested the area under it with luminol and there was a reaction. I see. There was a reaction to luminol, an indication that there was blood in that spot.
Can we stop looking at now, sirs?
It would seem that my deductions were correct after all. I suppose it would appear that way. The culprit cleaned the blood up well. And how do you think the killer did that? There's holes in the floor. Maybe they just washed it, because it washed out. How did the killer clean up the blood? There's only one thing with it, with blood on it. But to clean up the blood that well, he'd have to wash it as well. He can't do just this. The Bourguignon cloth that was covered in blood, but the body wasn't covered in blood, so... world famous export of Bourguignon, its beautiful pattern has been soiled by blood. Take that! The killer used the bloody cloth I found inside the suitcase to clean up the mess. I see. They had a need to clean up all the blood before the plane landed in Zenfar. Yes, because otherwise the cargo crew would have discovered it during the layover.
So you guys are saying that the murder happened before the plane landed in Zenfar?
There is no other conceivable timeline for the events of the murder. But if that is true, then that throws a certain person's testimony into doubt. If the murder occurred before we landed in Zenfar, then this becomes highly suspect. Ooh, what does? Well, we love Miss Teneiro, so it's gotta be Miss Meal. Alright, let's look what we're going on. Because, you know, it's gotta be a crew member, right? Can't be Mr. LeBlanc. Well, kinda could, but couldn't. But it looks like he's been conned. Looks like he's another victim of this murder, essentially. Mr. Agri Hicks was there in his seat when we took off again at 5 AM. So we know that's very much untrue. So am I presenting that? Oh no, I'm not, because I don't need to. We know that it happened before we left, which was 4? I think. Quick check. Got to make sure all my facts are correct after all. Can't just go accusing people willy-nilly, can I? Wait, where's my thing? Oh, is it just this? Yeah, ruling before 4 and 5. So it was before then. Yes. Job done. Miss Mule's testimony. Always the middle option, right? Recall Miss Mule's testimony about Agent Hicks in regard to when we departed Zengfa. I saw Mr. Hicks sitting in seat at 5 a.m., you know. She claims Agent Hicks was alive at the time of the service calls, but...
That totally contradicts the facts, sir.
Why would she lie about something like that? I think the only person who can answer that is Miss Mule herself. Oh. Good timing. That's brilliant timing. Excellent timing. For a to be continued and a jingle to occur. Because we will continue this train of thought now that we found the most likely probable. Culprit. Culprit is correct. I'm all flustered now. As we find out, or more to the point, find out for definite who it was, probably next time. Because we're going to go accuse someone, confront someone, and hopefully tear apart their testimony in an argument. Next time on Miles Edgeworth, Ace Attorney Investigations. I'll see you then for more. Bye-bye.